Tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm here in the backyard going to have some fun, but this video is unscripted, just going to share as I hit some golf balls as I practice. But I got into golf about 2 years ago, and what I learned is that I'm pretty good at it. Not great at it, but I'm pretty good at it. But the reason I'm good at it is because I equate golf to life and business. And so what I've learned to do, and I'm going to share some of that with you as I hit balls here, is I've learned to look at golf the way I look at life, the way I look at business. And so it starts with what I'm doing right now, and that's practice. And so first, go to worldrenownedgolf.com, worldrenownedgolf.com. Just take a look and see if that's for you. But what I realized is that I do not like to lose at anything. And when I say lose, I'm not talking about lose a game. I'm not talking about not being good enough in a day. What I'm saying is I don't like to be defeated. I do not like the idea of not giving my best. So as I got into the game of golf and I asked my friend, the first one that told me to get started, what should I do? Well, let me tell you this. Here's why I started playing the game of golf. It's because someone that's very close to me said, Neil, there are people that I want to introduce you to that you'll only meet on the golf course. Because before I would tell myself the story, I would tell myself the lie. I'm too busy. I'm trying to grow my business, real estate, coaching, speaking, all of this. And he says, okay, you could grow with quantity or you could grow with quality. And so he said, the people that will have the greatest impact on your business, on your life, you'll probably build relationships with them on the golf course. And so being open to the idea, something new, something different, really has made all the difference in the world for me. And so on that, I asked him, I said, what's the very first thing I should do? I've never swung a golf club. I don't know anything about the game of golf other than a lot of non-Negroes play it. And yes, this is even after Tiger Woods, of course, Tiger Woods, y'all. But he said, the first thing I want you to do is get professional coaching. Go to a coach. And so he got me connected with his instructor, Larry. Shout out to you, sir. And Larry really broke the game down for me and made it simple. The very first thing that Larry did, he took the fear away from me because I was nervous. I had been great at a lot of things. And then to have to be in a position to have to do this thing where I was going to come back and be a novice, be a neophyte at something, it made me nervous. So I would sit in the parking lot before practice, before my lesson, and I would think about leaving. And I told Larry I would have to text him and let him know that I was in the parking lot just so I would not leave. And so Larry, after all that time, well, really, the first thing we did was Larry walked me through nothing but golf etiquette. The first 2 lessons, he put me in the golf cart and just drove me around the course. Neil, here's how you are, here's what makes you a good golfer. And it had nothing to do with this. It had nothing to do with technique. It had all to do with relationship and etiquette, and make sure that you show up as a good guy, as a good gal on the course. And I will tell you, that has probably been the biggest reason why I continue to be invited back over and over again by those that I play with. It's simply because I understand things such as pace of play. I understand what good golf etiquette is. I know how to handle myself around those who are professionals and those who are novices on the course. And so that's what I'm going to ask you. Have you invested in a coach in any area that you want to improve in? Have you invested in a coach? And then the next thing I'm going to ask is, when your coach has asked you to do the unconventional thing. When they have asked you to get in the golf cart and don't worry about the technique or the swings or the clubs or the driver, and just to get out there and trust them to learn about the thing that you want to do, were you open to that or not? And so for me, that made all the difference. Because once I showed Larry that I was coachable, everything else came easy. Now, here's the next thing that Larry did with me. I think the first 30 hours of our time, I'm going to say the first 20 hours of our time was spent on nothing but putting. For 20 hours, we just got the putter and putted and putted and putted until I could get the ball within 3 feet of the cup consistently. And so that was my introduction to golf. Do this simple, unsexy, mundane thing for hours and hours and hours on end. And then I got excited. He says, Neil, put the putter down, reach into your bag. And I went to grab the driver. And he says, and get the 56. I'm like, get the 56? Like, I had never heard of the 56. Why? What is this 56? He says, Neil, trust me. And at this point, he hasn't failed me. So 56, one of my favorite clubs. 56, he says, Neil, all we're going to do, we're going to work on chip number 1 and chip number 2. Chip 1 and chip 2. 20 hours putting, another 5 or 6 hours working on chip 1 and chip 2. Another 5 hours working on the pitch, the pitching wedge, and coming here, and then coming up to 9 o'clock. Then maybe an hour on the long irons, the 4, the 5, the 6, and the driver, the 3 wood. Why? Because Larry said that the fundamentals of the swing, starting here at the bottom with the putt, with chip 1, chip 2, pitch, then long irons, and then finally the full drive technique that one builds on the other. So for me, I'm going to ask, have you mastered the fundamentals? Are you good with whatever your putter is? Because once we're on the green, on the dance floor, that's when the lights are shining. That's when we really have a chance to make a big difference. And then another thing that I have learned that is particularly interesting to me is that I know what my clubs do. And I think this is the biggest difference between a novice, a beginner, an intermediate, and then a professional, is that a beginner will ask someone that they're playing golf with, and I know this because I'm guilty of it. I play a lot of golf with my guy Charles, with John Sachs, and then a couple of other guys we play frequently. I used to ask them, if our balls, when we're playing best ball, I would say, well, what are you swinging here? Now, I want to remind you that one of my guys has been playing golf for almost 40 years. One of my guys has been playing for 20, and then one has been playing for about 6. And myself, as a newbie in the game, I'm asking them the wrong question. My question was often, well, what are you swinging? As if their distances were going to be my distance, if their technique would translate over to my technique, and that's not the case. Now what I ask is, what's the distance? Because my 7 might be their 5. Yes, I'm a long hitter. Did you get that, right? They might opt for a pitching wedge, and I might go with a gap wedge or a 56. Their technique on the approach might be different than mine. But here's the key. Do you know your stock yardages? Do you know how you perform? And we're not talking about golf. I'm talking about when it comes time for business and interactions and conversion ratios and the whole idea of consultations. Do you know what your best club is in your bag? Are you doing that thing that's going to generate revenue, or are you only doing that thing that's going to generate attention? And I dare say that many of us as business owners, as professionals, we think that attention equals revenue, because we've been lied to. We have a misunderstanding. We think that we are in the age where the greatest currency is attention. It actually is not attention. The greatest revenue, the greatest currency right now is in shared interest. That's why I'm sitting here hitting golf balls in my backyard into a net with the fire pit going, with my dog walking around. Why? Because somewhere in there, if you're still watching me, you have a shared interest. Whether it's going to be the topic that we're discussing, or maybe you just like fire pits. Maybe you like the idea of doing whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, for as long as you want, with whoever you want. That's my definition of success. Or maybe you're just waiting to see me shank one of these golf balls into the neighbor's backyard. If that's what you're waiting for, you could turn this off. That's not going to happen. Not because I'm that good. It's just because I have the net so close that even if I shank, it's going to hit the wooden fence over here. So my ask of you is, do you know what your distances are? Do you know where you perform the best? Do you know if you are better at closing or converting face-to-face, phone call, video message? Do you know who your elite client is? Do you know what the bullseye is that they're looking to hit? Because if not, you might find yourself like I did when I started. I would find myself in situations thinking I knew the distance to the hole, but I was using the wrong club. And for most of you who are listening to me now, you are probably a growth-minded individual. You're seeking to get some type of reward, some type of progress or growth, and you're using the wrong club. You're using the club of I, me, my, right? Instead of you, your idea. And so what I mean by that is, especially if you're in sales, we've been taught that sales is all about us pitching our product and making sure that we're in front of them at the right time. Well, I'm learning that can be effective, but it might be the wrong club depending on the situation. More likely than not, the right club is going to be a solution-based, persuasive technique where we're helping them uncover what their real desire is and why working with us is going to be the best solution. And that's really what we're trying to do. So I'm just going to stop talking for a moment. I'm going to hit a couple more golf balls, and then I might be back and share a little more with you. We're talking about practice because we're talking about greatness. Practice. I played with one of my guys last weekend, and he asked, Neil, how regularly do you play? Do you play 2 or 3 times a week? And my answer was no. I play about 3 times a month. However, my practice time that I get in is extensive. So we're looking at maybe a few hundred balls every couple of days right here in the backyard. And I do want to take this moment to pause and encourage you to go ahead and design the life that you want. So figure out what it is that's important to you. Figure out what your ideal life looks like. And I'm going to encourage you not to design that ideal life based on someone else's input, on what someone else says. Don't focus on competing or fitting in. Figure out what makes you happy. Figure out what's going to be the best route for you to get to where you want to be. And then ultimately, just go about creating that. And it helps if you're blessed and fortunate like me to have a loving spouse, significant other, who allows you to dream and to go and do all of the craziness within reason. Craziness within reason, that's the key. Isn't that right, babe?
Yes, sir.
She's right there. Don't think that I was gonna be out here by myself, because I'm scared of the dark. And my guard dog don't really be guarding nothing. But really, it all goes back to figure out what it is you want, do something different. When people tell you it can't be done, research and say, is that a reality? Is that a limitation? Is it an opinion? Or if it's just none of your business altogether. And then figure out if you want to do it. If it's something that's important enough to you, I believe that you will get it done. I've got to hit about 200 more balls tonight, so that I can be ready for Thursday when we get out there and have some fun. A little bit more work with my pitching wedge, then we're going with the 9, 7, and the 5. Hope you've enjoyed this time here, as we've had some smoke in our face from the fire pit, swung golf club a couple of times, shared some information. We're going to be doing more of this, not always the formal stuff inside the house, because it's all about interest. What are you interested in? What am I interested in? Can you see through the smoke? I love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time I see you or you see me, don't be average, be world renowned. Peace. Oh yeah, go to worldrenownedgolf.com and see if that's something that would work for you. Look forward to seeing you on the course and changing your business. Love you. Peace.